to interview you through Michael Brandvold. So I give him a lot of gratitude for that. You've had a busy career. I was reading about you, and, Iron Maiden is one of my all time favorite bands. Every time they come through New York, my cousins and I get tickets. Of course, we have tickets already for their September show. So you'll have to tell me what Iron Maiden was like in 1978.
Well, it's a bit different than it is today. Um, it was a different scene. It was just coming up. There was punk was all the rage, and we were coming up. The heavy metal scene was there, and when we first started gigging, people were flocking to our gigs. So, we would start off with like 40 people the next week, 100 people. Then it just got more and more popular. So we got a following very quickly. We went through the ranks very fast, and so within 6 months we were doing quite a lot of gigs. But such a new thing. All the audiences were all young. The governors of the pub used to go around turfing out the youngsters because they shouldn't even have been in the pub, all sneaking in to watch us. We didn't charge anything in the early days. So, everybody was really hungry for what we were doing. A lot of bands were doing similar stuff, Van Halen and Black Sabbath and all that, but they were older than us. This was what was called in the end the new wave of British heavy metal. So, yes, it was a hectic time, I must admit. Yeah.
So when you say you guys were young, what were you like?
I was
17, 18
Well,
yourselves?
no, I think older than that. I was about 20, but Steve was about 20 odd. Yeah, it was all in the sort of early 20s when we started Iron Maiden at that time. Iron Maiden was going before then. It was going from 1975, and I joined about 78. So it had 3 years, but there's so many different changes of personnel, and it was just Dave and Steve. And Steve asked me to join, so there was just the three of us. That was before Paul even joined, so that's all it was, just three of us at the time. Yeah.
Wow, it's so exciting. So, when you think being young like that, what was the family support? When you're young like that, what was the expectation? Was your family like, "Oh, this is great," or "You should be getting a job," you know?
Oh, no, my family was more like my mother. It was more like, oh, why don't you get a proper day job? Because my brother already had gone through the band thing, so she was a bit fed up with it the time I'd gone into it. So no, I can't say she was over the moon about me going into the music business. No.
Yes, I can understand that. So being from the UK, what was the club scene like? Because you said, you were just starting out, or Iron Maiden was kind of new at the time. So your venues were probably more like smaller clubs or bars, right? What was the biggest venue that you were playing when you were playing with them?
Well, we were starting off with there was plenty of places to play in them days. It was all the kids were very hungry for for the music. So there was a lot of places to play. But coming in, we got a job. We got a gig with Motorhead. Lemmy offered us a job to back him at a place called the Music Machine. They weren't called Motorhead because it was a warm up gig. I can't remember the name, what they called themselves, but he asked us to back him, and that was really like opened the floodgates because a lot more people got to see us, on that one gig, and then it started to snowball, sort of thing. I think then another time we played the Marquee, which was a big famous club in Wardour Street. The Jimi Hendrix had played there and years ago, and the Who, Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. So we got our headline down there, and that's where we finally got our EMI record deal from that night down there.
So exciting. I never got a chance to meet Lemmy, but a lot of people I know knew him. So the very young Lemmy, what was that experience like? To you're headlining for him, so he was following you guys. So were there things that you felt that you picked up from watching him play, or being billed alongside of them?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he asked us if we'd back him. We were really over the moon. I mean, I've got to realise that I was about 15 when Lemmy was with Hawkwind, so he was a little bit older than us, and so he was uh, like on a pedestal, really. I think, oh, I can't believe it. So when he offered us a job to go on first before them, we was really taken back. He was always the same, Lemmy. He was right up to the day he died. He was just the same sort of bloke. Yeah, great character. Yeah.